There is so much that we carry. There's a lot that we contain. You see, when the Bible declares that we have treasure in these earthen vessels, that's in reference to riches and abilities that are both divine and physical, even natural abilities. Psalm 127 and verse number 1.
Except the Lord build the house.
So the Lord is into construction. He is capable of building. Structures are brought up by the hand of God, except the Lord builds. This goes to show a certain capacity that God has to build. He is a master builder.
Yes.
So an engineer at some point has to be endued by the power of the Lord.
Yes, Father.
So that when he goes on to build, you have witnessed the Lord himself building. You will not find the Lord himself carrying a brick. How does the Lord build? When the man with the Lord is building. God is into mechanics. The only time that you find God fixing a car is when a man who has God fixes the car. As long as God is not involved in those structures, it is laboring in vain. So what they should have done is first to be born again. Now that they have the Lord, when they go on to build, it is the Lord himself building.
Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain.
Security guard, the police officer, the army, the navy, except the Lord watches, unless it is God watching through the watchman, the watchman stays awake in vain. And God is not saying these people are going to turn into prophets. He remains a security officer, but making use of God's eye. Unless it is God who watches. It's time that we tell a man not to leave his job so that he also becomes a prophet who sees by the eye of God. Keep your profession and still make use of God's eye. You stay in the construction industry and you still build by the Lord. All these people are ministers of God. Think about that. So it has to be the spirituality of the man that does the job. And at the end of the day, you are looking at an infrastructure, you're looking at a story building that the Lord himself constructed. How do you know it was the Lord? You look at the man who constructed it. He was inspired by the Lord. Certain designs that you see, there are certain architectural designs that you see and they become an attraction. You look at the structure, you see the spirit behind the design. Then you know somehow the supernatural being was involved in the drawing of the plan. I'm trying to make you comfortable in your territory, because most people have been wondering, has God called me into full-time ministry? What is full-time ministry? And you are made by the devil through misunderstanding of God's communications to leave your career and your path where God has placed you as a minister. If you look at the Bible, it talks about a minister in reference to a politician who will not hold his sword in vain. And the Bible says, for he is a minister of God.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 4.
Romans 13, verse number 4.
For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. For he is the minister of God to thee, for for good.
Who is the minister of God to thee for good?
The ruler.
The ruler. Is he a pastor? No. Is he an evangelist? No. Is he a prophet? No. Yet the Bible calls him a minister of God. Any man who understands his career very well, and you are developed by God very well in the way that you do business, you become a minister. So when a preacher is preaching in the church, he must consider that he's preaching to ministers who are coming from different disciplines of life. What a relief to a man who was thinking of leaving his job, wanting to serve God. Here comes a message today telling you that remain there as an accountant. Do accounts by the Lord. Any career you can think of. Personally, I've sat down, I've watched Mike Tyson fight. And I would rewind several times to see what exactly did he do there that made the man to fall. You'd rewind it 7 times. You cannot perceive or understand the impact of that uppercut. You can't. You can't. At times when you think he missed, the man is on the canvas. He's on the floor. There is a spirit that accompanies the feast. It can't be normal. You watch it, it's not normal. All along, from the moment he steps into he's looking for an opening, just a simple opening. Give it to him once, he's done. We go home once. Honestly, I watched it as a prophet. I said, no, this can't be physical. No. It touches just the corner, even the corner of the head. I saw one man, he was hit, fell to the ground. I think that one he had said, I will never. Quickly, he rose up, flexing himself, wanting to, and then the second time, without being hit, stood up again the third time. You can't wake up until the spirit is done with you. This is a spiritual thing. Stay on the ground. The Iron Man. You think it's just a fight? No, a man has discovered an area in his life where when he begins to fight you, you have the Lord coming against you. You are being hit by a spirit. Anything that you find yourself doing, if God can be involved, that makes your job a supernatural activity. You are serving God. You are a minister of God.